So, welcome back to the Canada Specialist Program series. Ryan, joining us from Alberta. How are you doing today?
Fantastic, Charlie. Just so happy to be here.
Yeah, good to have you. So, obviously, coming out of your summer into your fall, heading into winter. You're talking about winter today, right?
We are indeed. Yeah, things are starting to change outside, starting to get a little cooler overnight, so winter is coming.
Awesome. Okay, Ryan, I'm going to hand over to you.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, thanks, Charlie. And yeah, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to learn a little bit more about my backyard here in Alberta. So you will hear a little bit later today with CMH with their summer programs, and we have, as you know, some phenomenal summer product, which will really complement pre and post days with them. But today, really want to focus on our winter season. So that really kind of runs from that December, March period. And in the winter, obviously, your guests will be flying into BC, which is that one province to our left, and flying into two of our international airports, either Calgary or Edmonton. So today, like I said, I really want to kind of focus on the warmth of winter and why winter in Alberta is a phenomenal time for your guests to travel to the province. So I don't want to speak about winter in the Rockies and winter in Canada. This sometimes is the immediate thought that your clients are going to freeze. It's going to be too cold. What can you do? It's going to be too cold to go out and do anything. But that's simply not the case. And that's part of what we're going to go through and learn today. So the first part that I like to do is to warm up from the inside. This is my favorite part about winter, is the breweries, distilleries, and the dining that exist in this province. So whether you're guests, are in the cities of Edmonton or Calgary, smaller towns in the Rockies, you really need to ensure they take the time, sit back, meet some of the locals like me, and enjoy the many tastes and flavors of beers or spirits that showcase all of our local ingredients. There's really fantastic, fun, educational brewery and distillery tours available across the province. And your guests will get your hands on and get hand-on learning experiences about the processes that make these award-winning beer and spirits. Things like sweet honey liquor, prickly pear vodka, or our parlor gin. So fantastic. We also have locally grown juniper, which really enhances the gin that we make in this province. And what really sets our beer and our distilleries apart is the fact that the base of everything is not just regular water. We're close to the Rockies, so it's all glacial fed water, which is why we're winning awards around the globe for our beers and spirits. So Calgary and Edmonton both have a number of great foodie and boozy tours for your guests to take advantage of. It's also a great way to see the cities. Now, after, combined with that incredible beer and distillery scene, culinary is the next step in warming up in the winter. And for the best table view, you need to make sure your guests go to the Banff Gondola, located in Banff, on top of Sulphur Mountain, these incredible 360-degree views, and some incredible dining with local farm-to-table food and menus at Sky Bistro. In the winter, especially, guests can also take a cocktail, go sit out on the rooftop in these heated domes, outdoor fire pits, and enjoy the crazy night skies that we have and the incredible stars in Banff. Now, for those looking for something a little bit more civilized, there's also nothing more magical than winter than a high tea at the Fairmont properties, whether it's at the Chateau Lake Louise, the Banff Springs Hotel, or the Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge. Fairmont High Tea services and takes tradition to new heights. Your guests will linger over fluffy scones, in-house pastries and preserves, and finger sandwiches, all while enjoying, obviously, those magnificent views of the Canadian Rockies. And now that we warmed up our bellies with food and our with beer and distilled spirits, the next part to warm up our bodies is our bodies and our soul through kind of rich cultural experiences. So Alberta is really rich in Indigenous culture, and I really believe that a trip to Alberta really is not complete without some exposure to our First Nations ancestors. Allows your guests to be immersed with experiences that'll connect your guests to the land and the past and the history of Alberta. There's some incredible Indigenous experiences right across the province. This one, for example, is the Jasper Tour Company. You can book through your partners. This is no exception. Guests learned from Joe Uri. He's a member of the Métis Nation. His storytelling is incredible. He brings personality, his extensive knowledge, amazing sense of humor, and he keeps people engaged from start to finish and is a really immersive experience. There's also numerous other Indigenous experiences on hand to learn about those First Nations people. Whether your clients want to learn and listen to drumming and fireside chats with warrior women, up in Edmonton or up in Jasper, or if they want to take nature walks and be immersed in nature and learn about the flora and the fauna of the area with Mohican trails in Banff and in Canmore, there's lots of Indigenous experiences that'll suit your clients' needs and really connect your clients to the Indigenous people of Alberta. So the next piece then obviously is getting into the activities and really starting to get out a bit more and experience all there is to do in Alberta. So before we get outside, I just want to share a few of my favorite things to do while you're in the province. First and foremost, while you're in Calgary, taking in a little bit of Canadian culture. There's a really trendy neighborhood in the East Village in Calgary, and there exists Studio Bell. It's an architectural masterpiece. It's 5 floors of interactive displays, exhibits, memorabilia. And it celebrates the true history of Canadian music. It's a great place to spend a morning, great place to spend a day if your guests are feeling like they want to spend a little bit more time indoors. And then next is the story of the Stampede. So obviously your guests traveling in winter aren't going to get to experience the greatest show on earth in Calgary at the Stampede. But the story of Calgary and the Stampede is actually quite a legendary story. And what's been developed and newly launched last year was the Sam Center. And it's located in the heart of Calgary. Guests are immersed and involved in kind of the ongoing story of Stampede in Calgary. There's interactive exhibits, energizing experiences, and the history of the Stampede actually really comes to life. Here, your guests don't just sit back and listen to the stories; they actually help craft the next chapter and kind of be part of the legend of Stampede. And when they leave the Sam Center, they kind of leave as a member of the Stampede family as well. So that's kind of into our indoor activities, and now it's time to get outside. This is what Alberta is all about: big mountains, big views, and big experiences out in nature. So my first and favorite activity here, obviously, is downhill skiing, but I don't have time to dive into the skiing. That really needs a full separate webinar. So today I'm actually going to focus on non-ski activities, but you can always reach out for more information about the incredible skiing in Banff National Park at Sunshine Village, here at the Lake Louise Ski Resort, where the views are pretty stunning, and obviously at Mount Norquay or Marmot Resort up in Jasper as well. So one of my favorite experiences, which I really like to showcase as a true bucket list experiences, is getting up high on a heli snowshoe. And one of the best places to do this, Jasper and Lake Louise. Guests actually land high in the mountains. They have this incredible scenery in this unforgettable backcountry, pristine wilderness. And they hike with a guide up above the tree line. From there, they hop back in the helicopter and they fly down to Abraham Lake. Now, Abraham Lake is a natural wonder of the world where ice bubbles can be found. I really highly recommend this tour. It's pretty incredible natural phenomenon. Guests here will see a huge pockets of methane bubbles that are frozen and deep within these crystal clear waters. So when guests are out on the water, they're actually looking right down to the floor of the lake, and just have these and surrounded by all these sulfur bubbles. Really incredible experience. And then next, obviously, is dog sledding. Although it's a Canadian, very much a Canadian experience, a must-do Canadian experience. There's some incredible adventures in Jasper, in Banff, Lake Louise, and Canmore and Kananaskis, where your guests can get out dog sledding. They can either sit back, enjoy the ride, or they can actually learn how to mush a sled as well. And if you've never seen a dog sled team take off, it's something to behold, to be honest. The whole experience. Normally when the sleds line up, there's 3 or 4 sleds ready to go. The dogs hit this fever pitch of excitement before they go. They're leaping, they're yelling. They're just in this intense moment before they head out. And it's just an absolute attack on the senses. And then all of a sudden, your guide will lift the brake. The dogs will take off, and all of a sudden, it's silent as you go into the backcountry. And it is just a truly magical experience. From there, obviously, if your guests can't get up and do a heli snowshoe, I really recommend doing a snowshoe somewhere in within the Rockies. And this is my favorite experience by far. This is actually up at Sunshine Village. Guests actually take a chairlift to the top of the mountain, and from there, they traverse into this incredible scenery and backdrop. The beauty part up here is they're not on a trail. Their guide is taking them through deep and fluffy snow, and then they don't have to hike down. They hop back on the chairlift and then back down to the base for a cocktail. Now, if getting out and about and doing downhill skiing is obviously not for your guests, then they can learn how to cross country ski. Um, at the Canmore Nordic Center, which is located between Calgary and Banff in Canmore, is the best place for this. This is a world-class Olympic facility that was created in 1988, but still remains a major stop on the international tour. Today, you'll often see international athletes training here. We have a number of international and Olympic athletes that reside in Canmore that are up here all the time. So you do kind of have to check your ego at the door when you're going up the hill or going for a ski and think you're doing well, and then you get passed by a couple of 78-year-old Olympians. But other than that, the scenery is beautiful, and it's a great time to get out as well. And also, there's nowhere else in the world more spectacular than skating on this little lake at Lake Louise. This photo was actually taken early season last year, where the lake froze crystal clear right to the back. So this kind of happens early season. For the rest of the year, they Zamboni the front part of the lake, so they make it nice and flat and easy for your guests to go skating. And if they're not skating there, there's obviously wild skating as well throughout the Rockies, and lots of beautiful rinks throughout the cities to enjoy one of Canada's favorite pastimes, which is skating. And then finally, my last activity, but it's also the first activity I take anyone on that comes to the province, is taking your guests to or sending them on a tour through Johnson's Canyon. This really is a breathtaking natural attraction. It's a beautiful canyon walk, elevated but really gentle pathway to two beautiful and stunning waterfalls, where you'll also see typically people up ice climbing as well. Guests can do this on their own, but I do recommend doing this with a tour as they learn about the history, and they'll also be provided the appropriate footwear to get back into the waterfalls. And then finally, all of this activity, no matter what you're doing, if you're indoors, doing the culture experiences, or outdoors, doing snowshoeing or skiing or dog sledding, the day always needs to end in a hot tub, whether that's in the hot tub at your hotel, or taking in the natural hot springs in Banff or in Jasper, where the pools have been here and providing this magical experience since the 1980s, and invigorating your guests with these mineral-rich soaked waters. Then this is definitely the way to sit back, relax, and enjoy your time out in the winter. And finally, before I send it back to Charlie, I just wanted to highlight as well, there is exciting. We have a new thermal wellness facility that's actually being built at the Chateau Lake Louise right now. This should be completed in the spring of 2025. It's going to be a phenomenal 31,000 square foot facility with specialty treatment rooms, relaxation areas, and all kind of right at the shores of the Chateau Lake Louise. So I will leave that there for now, and yeah, send it back to Charlie after my little whirlwind tour around Alberta in the winter.
Thank you. And we've got Ryan's contact details there, and the Travel Alberta website, great resource as well. Thank you, Ryan. Winter is such a stunning time in Alberta. The snow is always guaranteed. It's always amazing. It's just beautiful, and the amount of activities you can do there as well. And I do love that new wellness center at Lake Louise. That's huge news, right?
It's incredible. Yeah, the best part about that is when it's done, it's not going to be obtrusive to the guests or the experience there, because it's built into the hillside there for the
Yeah.
guests in the hotel looking out. They'll just still be seeing the grass roof as it was previously, but now there is going to be an amazing facility right at the lakeshore. It's great.
Yeah, cool. And also, I love that photo of the frozen lake, but yeah, without the snow on it. I've never seen it like that before, where you've just got the lake frozen all the way there to the back.
Like if I highly recommend Google Paul Ziska, Lake Louise on Facebook or on Instagram. He's got some phenomenal videos of skaters out on that lake this year or last year. It was, yeah, it was surreal, unbelievable.